What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. And welcome to another episode of Designated Twitter. And on today's show, we're discussing the future of Clayton Edward Kershaw. Will he be back with the Dodgers next season? Will he sign with another team? Will he retire? We're going to dive into it in just a second. But I want your takes. Do you think that Clayton Kershaw will be back next season? Do you think he'll sign with another team? Do you think he'll retire? I want your takes down below. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to help out the channel, smash that like button. And for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So I'm not a very religious guy, but I do believe in Christianity. And on the 8th day, God created Clayton Kershaw. And I firmly believe that he's going to be back with the Dodgers next season if he continues his career. I don't think he'd sign with the Texas Rangers. I don't think he would sign with another team. And a few weeks ago, Dave Vassay on AM 570, he said that the Texas Rangers offered Clayton Kershaw a boatload of cash to go to Texas and go home and be a Ranger. He had that opportunity to do that, and he didn't. What did he do? He signed a 1-year, $17 million contract plus incentives to come back with the Los Angeles Dodgers and compete for a World Series title. And what happened? Things worked out for Clayton Kershaw. He ends up starting in the All-Star game for the first time in his career. And yes, you've had some injuries, but that is just who Clayton Kershaw is at this point of his career. You're not going to see 30 starts or anything close to that. He's a guy that you just want to be out there on the mound when he's healthy, and you want to make sure that he has enough gas in the tank come postseason. And at 34 years old, he's still one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball, posting a 2.42 ERA in over 115 1/3 innings pitched. If you look at his walk rate at 4.4%, that's pristine. A microscopic 4.2 barrel rate. And I think with Clayton Kershaw, it's just about, does he win a championship this season? Does he still think that he can be one of the better pitchers in the league? I don't see him coming back and taking on another role like a John Smoltz later in his career, or a reduced role where you're a number 4 or number 5 starter. I think he's a guy that has a lot of pride because he has been the pitcher of his generation. And he said recently, he told Dylan Hernandez of the LA Times that at the end of the day, pitching is tough on my back. There's no way around that. And he would go on to say, I can manage it, definitely. And maybe there's a time where it can last for 8 months of a year and be good. I still think that's in there. So yeah, his back has been an issue. He's also put this franchise on his back for so many years. And I definitely think having him come back and have a farewell tour, it doesn't seem like something that Kershaw would want to do, have him smell the roses and give a speech or anything like that. But when you talk about the fact that he is one of the most legendary pitchers in this storied organization, he's the guy that's firmly cemented in the Dodgers Mount Rushmore. I can't see him just winning a World Series and just riding off into the sunset. I think he loves this game too much. I think that he enjoys mentoring some of the other pitchers, some of the younger guys, the Dustin Mays of the world. And I think that if he still thinks that he can be effective, he'll be back in Dodger blue. But I guarantee you that if he continues his playing career, it's going to be with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Some players were meant to wear one jersey. The Sandy Koufaxes of the world, the Magic Johnsons, the Kobe Bryants. Clayton Kershaw is definitely in that class, and I just don't see him going to a Rangers team that isn't going to be competing for a World Series anytime soon. That is what it's all about for Clayton Kershaw. He has every trophy on his mantle. The only thing he's missing is a World Series MVP. I think that he should have won it in 2017 if the Dodgers had beaten the Astros, but that wasn't the case. But he knows what he's judged by this at this point of his career, and that's his postseason success. And he knows that if he goes to Texas, yeah, it would be nice to be around your family and be home in Dallas, but you're not getting anywhere near a World Series title. But one scenario to consider if you're Clayton Kershaw is, what if the Dodgers go on to win the World Series? And what if Clayton Kershaw is a big factor in why they win? What if he pitches well? What if he even takes home the NLCS MVP or the World Series MVP, and you say his legacy is complete? He has nothing to prove to anyone. To me, already doesn't have to prove anything to anyone, but in the eyes of baseball fans around the world, that his perception of him as a postseason liability or a guy that has his postseason ups and downs, if he puts that to bed and he pitches well, then maybe he says, hey, I'm going to go out on top. I'm going to be like Michael Jordan and the 1998 Chicago Bulls and hit that walk-off shot and be done with it. Or he says, hey, my Dodgers career is over now because I've won multiple World Series titles. That is a possibility as well. And if you look at how he's pitched since returning from the IL, here are his MLB ranks in his 6 starts, 36 innings pitched, a 1.5 ERA, that's good for 7th, a .92 whip, that's good for 10th, a 2.20 FIP, that's good for 5th, a 23.6 strikeout to walk ratio, that's good for 12th, a 1.2 F4, that's good for 3rd. So last night, Kersh didn't have his best stuff, but still 6 scoreless innings, had 4 strikeouts, had those 2 walks. You know how much Clayton Kershaw hates to issue free passes, but still pitched well, put up zeros, and to me, he's right where he needs to be for this Dodgers team heading into October. Now, my gut instinct tells me that he'll be pitching next year no matter what, but I do think it's a very interesting conversation to have. But even if Kersh does decide to return next season, well, the Dodgers are going to be in a position where they can sign another starting pitcher. We know that Walker Buehler, he's going to miss most, if not all, of the 2023 season. Yes, there's a slim chance he returns towards the end, but the most likely scenario is that the Dodgers won't have Walker Buehler back until spring training in 2024. So who are the pitchers that could be available in the open market? Well, first, let's start right at the top with the DeGrominator. A lot of you have been asking me about the potential of the Dodgers going after Jacob DeGrom this offseason. And starting with his numbers this season, he's been fantastic when healthy. A 3.08 ERA, a 2.14 FIP. He's striking out 42.7% of the batters that he's faced, and that's in 11 starts across 64 and a thirds innings pitched. So that is the only issue with Jacob DeGrom, is the fact that he's a durability concern. He's dealt with health issues throughout his career, and this year had a lengthy stint on the IL that was caused by a stress reaction in his scapula. And now DeGrom has already made it clear that he plans to opt out of his $30.5 million deal with the Mets for 2023, and when he does that, he's immediately going to be the most coveted pitcher available on the open market. Now, despite his age at 34, he'll be 35 next June, and his injury history, he's still going to get big money. There's no question about it, because the fact remains that when he's healthy, he's still the most dominant pitcher on the planet. He's still averaging 98.9 miles per hour on that four-seam fastball. His slider is nearly unhittable. Opponents are hitting just 139 off of it. And yes, like I said, he's definitely a durability risk, but that could work in the Dodgers' favor, as they might be able to sign him to a shorter-term deal, something in the 3 to 4 year range. Also, let's not forget, a few years ago, Trevor Bauer, he signed a shorter-term deal because he had already made it clear that he didn't want to sign a 5 or 6 year deal, and the Dodgers, they jumped on that. So the Dodgers have already shown that they're willing to sign one of these higher AAV shorter-term deals. So yes, there's definitely a buyer beware sticker attached to Jacob DeGrom, but here's the positive side of that, is that you're not going to have to sign him to a 5 or 6 or 7 year deal. You're most likely going to have to give him a deal 3 to 4 years at an extremely high AAV, maybe something along the lines of 2 years, $80 million with an opt-out. You could structure it where if he pitches a certain amount of innings or a certain amount of games, that you can have that as a player option, or you can sign him to that Max Scherzer 3-year, $130 million contract. And yes, the Mets have the richest owner in the sport right now, and he said about Jacob DeGrom, obviously he's been a great Met and somebody we would love to have back. So they're going to try to bring him back. You've also heard the Atlanta Braves as a potential destination for him. The Braves really are in a great position to sign a big-name pitcher because all their young horses are locked up to team-friendly deals for the next few seasons. You've heard the Rangers mentioned as a potential spot for DeGrom, but I definitely think that if Clayton Kershaw walks, if they don't re-sign Trey Turner, hey, I think they'll at least make contact with Jacob DeGrom because they know they need another frontline starter next season. Yes, you're going to have a full season of Dustin May. You still have Bobby Miller and Ryan Pepio. You have Gavin Stone down on the farm, and I think at this point it's clear that the Dodgers are going to extend that qualifying offer
offer to Tyler Anderson. He's earned it. That'll be around $19 million. So it'll be very interesting to see if the Dodgers get involved with Jacob DeGrom, but that's where he's at. I'm going to drop a whole video on some potential starters the Dodgers could go after in the offseason. You got Carlos Rodon. He'll be available. I was high on him last year. Justin Verlander, he's expected to opt out of his $25 million deal after his big bounce back season. Leads all of baseball with a 1.8 ERA. I don't see that happening, of course, but there's some other names we have to get into as well. But it'll be very interesting to see how the Kershaw domino really impacts the Dodgers starting pitching next season.
But let me know down below in the comment section, where do you think Clayton Kershaw will be pitching next season? Let me know down below.
And should the Dodgers consider signing Jacob DeGrom? Do you want to see Jacob DeGrom in Dodger blue? Let me know down below.
My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.